And good evening. Tonight we begin with the devastation in this Plano neighborhood. An explosion leveled this house, damaged several others, and sent 6 people to the hospital. And just look at this video. That explosion was so powerful, there's nothing left of that house, just a whole lot of debris. This happened in an older neighborhood in West Plano off of Cleveland Drive, just north of the President George Turnpike. And to give you an idea of the extent of the damage, have a look here. The image on the top is from Google Earth, the image on the bottom after that explosion. Chris Lawrence is anchoring tonight live from that neighborhood. Chris, right now investigators are looking into a cause, but we know electricity and gas have been shut off to the entire block.
Yeah, in fact, Izzy, we've seen some of the neighbors start dragging their generators outside because we are completely in the dark here. In fact, one of the Plano first responders just told me there is some concern that this blast may have moved some of these homes off their foundation or compromised the integrity of their roof. Something to keep an eye on in the big picture. But right now, obviously, everything's centered around this blast site right here. They just brought in a hauler to start hauling some of the debris out to get this street cleared so that some of the emergency vehicles could get access. Something I learned since I got out here, the house directly across the street took some of the brunt of this explosion. The shock wave actually pushed the windows inside, but then sucked the glass back out. So all the glass is actually outside the house, not in it. Just gives you an idea of the incredible strength of this explosion. So let's get you caught up on how exactly we got to this point. The crews started getting calls about this explosion around 4:40 this afternoon. There were a total of 6 people injured. 1 person from inside the house that exploded, 5 others right to the house next door. 3 of those were rushed to the medical center of Plano. 3 others were taken to Children's Medical Center Plano. At this point, we don't know their conditions, but like we said, the cause is under investigation and several agencies are looking into it. We're going to kick off our coverage with Jobin Paniker, who has been out here shortly after the blast. He's been talking to neighbors about what they saw and heard.
There was no escaping what happened Monday on Cleveland Drive in Plano.
Violent, very violent.
They all heard it.
It's like airstrike just happened at this house.
They all felt it.
Literally shook this entire neighborhood.
The explosion of a home that coursed through neighborhoods a mile away.
It was like if I were to grab you and just like shake you violently is what it felt like.
So strong.
Like the house is leveled, it's gone.
It sent pieces of house crashing into the house across the street, followed by a storm of dust and debris.
Tragedy. A house completely flattened.
Tragedy caked all over cars and the ground nearby.
Yeah, the car's covered in like all debris.
Literally.
And there ain't a roof there no more.
Figuratively.
When I turn around and look at this house, I'm just blessed.
6 people were hurt, rushed to hospitals. Neighbors here are hopeful.
Oh, those poor people.
Right here.
Anthony Armstrong was lucky to just lose a window.
The glass just shattered and blew inside.
They are as puzzled as they are surprised. Not here. Not their neighborhood.
It's sad. You should cherish every memory that you have every day you wake up. You never know when very unexpected things can happen.
They were all shaken, and there was nothing they could do about it.
You know, the most striking thing we heard tonight was that one piece of sound from that one neighbor saying, it felt like someone had lifted my house and dropped it. Now, people here are getting over the power of that blast and right now focusing their thoughts on the families involved. Chris, back to you.
Yeah, Jobin, obviously we heard the people, felt this blast a mile away, heard it even further away than that. Thank you so much for that context. I want to bring in my colleague, Rebecca Lopez now, because you've covered other house explosions in the past and you've also been talking to your sources all evening. At this point, what are investigators looking for?
Well, right now you have investigators from the fire department, Encore, and Atmos, and they are trying to figure out what caused this massive explosion. And Chris, they also have the Plano Police Department brought out its dogs that check for any kind of explosive devices or any kind of explosive material. They did not find that, but something that is also significant that investigators tell me is there was no fire with this explosion, and they say that is a big clue.
Okay, so based on that, no fire, because some of our viewers were also wondering the same thing. Based on your past experience and what your sources are telling you, why is that such an important detail?
So I was speaking with some investigators from other fire departments, and they tell me when there's an explosion of this magnitude, it is so intense, it sucks the oxygen out. And so that is most likely going to be a gas explosion. If you look for something like a meth lab, you would have had a fire, plus you would have seen a ton of people out here with protective gear, and a lightning strike, which a lot of people were speculating in the neighborhood that there was a thunderstorm, that maybe it was lightning, but lightning would also have caused a fire. So my sources are saying it's most likely going to be gas.
Gas, okay. Again, well, at this point, I know they've still got an investigation going on, and as we look at that pile of debris, that is a lot to try to get through. We told you about the backhaul, so you could see that coming by to start moving the stuff off the street. But is there a timeline for when they may be able to tell us exactly what caused this?
You know, I suspect that they probably already know by just looking at the debris field, because I had some people that say, oh, that's definitely going to be gas just by what they're seeing on television. But they have to go through all of this and to find the point of origin, and that's going to take a little bit longer. That sometimes happens within 24 hours. Sometimes it could take days, because as you can imagine, the evidence has been blown to pieces, and they have to try to get in there and find that point of origin to find out exactly what happened, and that could take some time.
All right, obviously they don't want to get it wrong,
right?
Which is a very important thing. All right, we're going to wrap things up here. We will keep you updated, throughout the night, and of course tomorrow morning on Daybreak. To bring you the very latest as we learn more information. For now, I'm going to send it back to you, Izzy, in the studio.
All right, thank you, Chris. Those cleanup crews hard at work behind Chris, and we pray that those 6 people who were sent to the hospital will be okay.